Um, this morning, when I got up, and last night I didn't get very much sleep. It was weird. Yesterday was weird. It seemed like time was going weird. Like, it seemed like it would be a few minutes, and then I'd look up at the clock, and it'd be like an hour. And but it had that feeling, like I don't know. It just how the day felt and how the time was being measured. It just didn't match. It was weird. And so anyway, I'm kind of tired because I went to bed later than normal. I got caught up watching this show when I was went to the graduation. My daughter started watching this show while I was there. One of my daughters, and it was Married at First Sight, which is weird because I can't see shit. It's so weird when I look at this. Sometimes it just looks like colors. Anyways, that this show was these people who, and this is season 10, they get married and they haven't met at all. And but these matchmaker people, like, they go through, you do all your questionnaire, blah blah blah, and then you get matched with like this perfect match. And on paper it's all perfect. And so then they go and they get married. Then they have to try and make it work. And they have counseling and doctor, all sorts of stuff to try and help them. But the whole thing is there's just like, they don't have chemistry. Like, they could be perfect on paper, but none of them really like each other. And why I got caught up is when she first started watching it, it was so cute. All the people were so cute, and they were, talking about themselves, and they were just so excited. And how they matched them, they seemed like, oh my God, these people are like perfect matches. They're so cute. They are so similar. And but then when they got together, it was just issues after issues after issues. It was crazy because some of the people, so I started watching it yesterday afternoon. I couldn't find anything to watch all day. So I started watching that. I was like, I just want to watch something upbeat. Because sometimes I'll get on these kicks when I can't find anything to watch, and I'll start watching crime shows or something. And then you just start feeling like, oh my God, this is getting depressing. So and then I've got to go find something happy to watch. So I was like, oh, little love thing. That'd be cute. And it's not really. It's drama and it's crazy because some of the people really seem to have a good idea about relationships. Like, but they just, I don't know, they just, I guess, personality, the chemistry. And one thing about that is, I was thinking about this, please stop, is that when you meet somebody, you get that instant attraction, and you just know you're supposed to be with them. I've had this happen. Like, is just like, you just instantly, like, you feel like you know this person. And so in our heads, we think like, oh, this is magic. Now everything's going to be so wonderful. I found my soulmate, blah, blah, blah. And then, and I think that's why a lot of people talk about soulmates as being No, there's a lot of people actually talk about soulmates as being like the perfect relationship. But what I have found in my own personal life is that a soulmate, so in my idea, you're just out living your life, you meet this person, and it's just like this recognition, like, wait a minute, I know you somehow. We're supposed to be together. And then you get together with this person, and it just is a struggle. It's hard. It's just like, oh my God, what the hell? This is not my idea of love. And but the whole thing is, now what I've realized is that those relationships were there to teach you. So yeah, you will have an instant connection. You will know who you're supposed to be with, but it's not always about what you think it's about. Sometimes it's about you learning about yourself. And what we do is pre-planned no matter what. So like for me, going into these relationships and having kids, especially when I wasn't even trying, I did try later in my life, but when I was young, I didn't even think I could have kids. I was shocked when I got pregnant. My period had never been normal. My period was always jacked up. And I told you I had like I thought like a boy's body. I didn't look very, I mean, my face and hair, I guess, looked girly, but my body didn't. So anyways, when I got pregnant, I was really surprised. And but those souls are meant to come in to your life at that time, because everything is so, it's like pre-planned, it's preformed. You always are where you're supposed to be, even when you're questioning it. So when you go into these relationships and it's all about learning, it can feel so like, oh my God, this is somebody, this is, this is a meeting of the souls. This is like a relationship that's supposed to be good. These are my soulmates. Like, what the hell? Am I just alone in the universe? And that's, I keep looking over there because like, I'm just getting like a million texts after. So crazy. I'm sitting here, completely silent for however long. And as soon as I start doing this, it's like, boom, boom, one after another. It's like, okay. Anyways, so a soulmate or these relationships where you feel very connected on a soul level, that they are about lessons, even with your kids, even all the relationships, that is what they're there for, is to teach us. So some of those relationships, if we look at it more as like, what am I going to be learning from this person? And don't go into it to like, this has to be forever. That puts a lot of pressure on relationships, and when you just go into it as like, we're going to be here together and, grow together. And, I've been in relationships where I thought, because I've been always one of those people who has really looked at things like from my soul, always from an emotions, and I was constantly called, I was never logical. I was very driven. But I just had a different way of looking at things than some people. That's why you can't, labels and boxing people in doesn't work. We're all just a mix of a lot of different things. But, I got together with people who weren't similar to me. They could be similar in some way, I guess. I don't know, because maybe in the beginning, you're trying to find something that's, makes you bonded or something. I don't know. It's so weird, because I'm sure if I was talking about it now as I was going into one of those relationships, I would have a different perspective than what I do now, looking back on those relationships. So looking back on those relationships, I can see that it was just very forced. It was very me trying to constantly change myself. And I know, I still have contact with the dad that, my husband that I was married to for a long time. I still have contact with him, with the kids, the grandkids, and stuff like that. And so I hear through the grapevine that, he feels he was always, what is that called? Not restrained, but kind of like held back or something, like always having to conform. And that's how it feels when you're in the wrong relationship, I think, and when you're not being true to yourself. Because I think the most important thing is to be true to yourself and to focus on what you want, and how you treat other people is super important. And that's one thing in this show too. It is like, and I don't know if it's just something that's going on with some, like certain generations, but it's so much about like, it's all about me. It's what I need. Oh, I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings. That's on you. Well, yeah, that's true. But also if you are just like, all, like about it, then that's about you. So yeah, you shouldn't be, hurting people's feelings and then just be like, well, too bad. It's your own feelings. And I think that we just need to Like, we can't go around constantly being like, oh, I can't do this, I can't say that because I'm gonna hurt someone's feelings. We can't be that way either. But we just need to be more tuned into each other. You know what I mean? Just be more authentic. And I feel like if we get to that point of just really tuning into one another and being authentic, and being more mindful of the words that we use. And a lot of times I find myself, I'll think about something. Do I really need to say that? Okay, so if I said that, what would be, and kind of just, go into it more, think about it. You don't need to say everything. And silence doesn't have to be filled all the time. You can have silence. That doesn't mean anything. And I feel like for relationships that, I know lots of them are breaking, but a lot of people are, still trying to find the one or whatever. And you just gotta, I think, get it in your head that the one will always come, but it may not be the one that you are hoping for. You may have to go through a couple of the ones to learn those lessons to get ready for that one, because you will expand your own thoughts. Like, for me, it was all about my own self-esteem, my own self-image, my standards, just a lot of stuff. It was about building me. And, I think that the more that people focus on building themselves, and before you get in a relationship, you know what I mean? But you have to know what's broken. So, you need to go, don't be hard on yourself if you have to go through some bad relationships or hard things, because you're going to come out of it with a lot better idea of who you are. If you can look at yourself, if you can re-examine your own self, you can't, that's the gift of not just being a victim of, oh, it's everyone else. Everyone else makes me miserable. I'm just a victim to life. If you can step out of that mindset and step into the one of self-reflection and looking at yourself, that's where you can find the most healing. That's where you can find, and it takes courage. I talk about it all the time, and it does take courage. But, if you're in a relationship that's not good, relationships are just, it's such a changeover right now going into this new era, this new age. And it is such a shift, and it has so much to do with relationships and how our relationships are with each other, with significant others, with the world in general, That's why all of these things are shifting. Our government, all the systems that have been placed for us that have just, enslaved us, they're all crumbling apart because we're going into this new age. And in the new age is where, everything is going to be so much different about relationships. But this right now is your time to start getting different perspectives and look at things differently. If you're in a relationship, you went into it for the wrong reasons, you're in the wrong relationship, don't feel like a failure. It's so easy when you leave a relationship, no matter which way, if you're the breaker up or if you're being broke up with. Both feel horrible. Both feel like a failure. They both carry a horrible burden. And that is us that needs to shift that idea, the way we look at things, the way, and as a collective, it's just that huge shift of how we just start seeing things differently. Just like I said about death, seeing it more as a transition, not this horrible, sad tragedy. We're never going to see this person again. If we get more in the idea, They transitioned, they're still there, they're helping from the other side, they're always with you, and stuff like that. It gives you new perspective. In a relationship, if we get into the idea of how important it is for us to really know what we want and stuff, if we want to go into this new age, not having just divorce court, not having just babies out there with no parents, we have to take ourselves more serious. We have to look at what we want and how we want to develop this world moving forward. All that stuff's going to be gone. We don't need to worry about the old stuff. We need to focus on the future, what we do want. And, this is a time that, a lot of people say stay in prayer and stuff like that. It is a time to stay, if you're a prayer, a meditator, a positive, direct your energy positive ways, or however you do it. That's what we do need to do. We do need to focus on ourselves and what we want for our future. We got to let go of this stuff that's going, I keep talking about, we can't hold on to any of it. And I'm going to really work hard on not talking about the stuff, the current events going on. And one of the things is when I got up this morning and I was just kind of like, and I turned on the TV and the first thing was Trump talking at down there at the place with all the problems. And when he was talking, I was just getting so I was just getting so upset. Like, oh my God, how are we gonna, it can feel so overwhelming. Like, how are we gonna fix this? Like, I know that they're spreading these people all over. They're taking them in buses and planes. They're putting them everywhere. And, they're in convicts and just, it's really bad what's going on. And so I was just feeling, oh my God, just really beat down, just like overwhelmed. And so I was super happy when it ended. It was supposed to be like an hour or something, but it only went because when it very first started, for the next hour, we're going to be talking to him. But it ended after 15 minutes. So they must do it in segments. But I was like, oh God, I'm glad of that. I can't, it pulls my energy too much. It makes me feel depleted and sad and down, and I don't want to feel that way. I do a lot of stuff to build myself up, and like turning on music, dancing, being silly, playing with the dogs, just do everything to keep that energy up, because it goes out of you and it goes to your neighbors. It goes all around us. And we are a part of raising this energy. And so then when I went out of that, and right under was Allison Coe thing. So, and it was only a few minutes. So I went in and listened, and she was talking about a session that she had done. And she said that they just all keep saying the same things, but she said that they said we need to stop focusing on the negative and really stay focused on the positive. The negative is done. It's done. The positive. And so when you're praying and stuff, you don't have to pray like, oh, please release us from this horrible burden of these horrible creatures that have enslaved us and stuff like that. No, just stay in prayer, like of the abundance, like about good things for your family, about get excited, about start seeing your family, your friends on trips, start seeing in your head, start picturing everybody with just abundance and everything that they want, and just joy and barbecues and just all of that stuff. Stay focused on that stuff. And, it was just funny right after I saw that, and I was just really tuned into my emotional well-being. And then right after that, she said, yeah, this is the time where she said that she was talking to some, in a past life regression, these QHHT and the BHQ, they go into a deeper state in your mind so that you're hypnotized, but they can go in and start talking. And this happened originally by accident. So then they figured out how to start doing it with other people. But you can go in and you can talk to higher self. And what gets really trippy is when these people go into their past lives, and this state. This is where the time space shit. And just go watch or read some stuff by Dolores Cannon. I'm sure there's other people to talk about it, but you know, I like her. And it's about reincarnation. So when she would go in and she would hypnotize these people, and this happened several times, she could start talking to other people in the space that these people were. So your consciousness is really in that place, and you are really interacting with these other beings when you're talking. So, you know, however you can wrap your mind around that. I mean, to me, when you can go into a dream and it's just as real as your real life, then that shows your consciousness doesn't need your body to have experience. And so when the, God, it drives me crazy when I forget what I'm talking about. So when the, if I start back, if I can just kind of remember. So the consciousness can have experiences even when it's in your body. It can still go and have experiences because it doesn't need a body, because it's multidimensional. And, oh, dang it. I still can't remember what I was going to say. Well, maybe it made sense without me having to to put it together for you. Maybe, you know, you put it together for yourself without 10 minutes ago. I don't know. But anyways, I just really do believe that we just really need to focus on our future. I've talked about it so much, and the possibilities, because we're going to create this new future. And one thing yesterday too, oh, this is getting long. I'm gonna start another one back real quick. Hold on.